Stop asking for human reward. You are canceling God's biggest blessings. If you crave the spotlight, you cancel your covenant. Your reward is temporary. Learn the strategic law of hidden provision to activate the doubling principle and access your unlimited, unseen supply now. Here is a strategic, non-negotiable truth of the kingdom. If your blessing always requires public acknowledgement, it is not a covenant blessing guaranteed by Jesus. It is merely a human reward, and by the immutable law of man, it is temporary, volatile, and highly vulnerable to attack. This is the display crisis of the modern believer. They are perpetually seeking the visible reward, violating the core principle of hidden provision. They live life under violation 5, seeking the honor of man, topic 13, which tragically limits their access to the King's true, unlimited supply. When you perform acts of goodness publicly for human validation, you are asking man to pay the reward, and man's capacity is finite. You are trading a legal, eternal guarantee for fleeting applause. The consequence is a spiritual life perpetually dependent on limited earthly sources, missing the strategic, limitless supply that operates exclusively in secret. In this crucial session, we unveil the strategic law of hidden provision, the operational framework Jesus himself laid out, Matthew 6, to ensure your supply is guaranteed by the Father and protected from attack. We will reveal the 3 legal zones of secret obedience that activate the doubling principle, the covenant mechanism Jesus uses to multiply and secure your blessing unseen. This is the blueprint for moving your financial, relational, and spiritual security from the unstable ledger of man to the unassailable treasury of heaven. The legal basis, the seed law. To access the law of hidden provision, you must first understand its legal basis, the eternal seed law. The core principle is this: a blessing is not an event, it is a harvest reaped from a seed sown in secret. The seed law, Galatians 6:7, is an eternal decree of the kingdom. What you sow, you must reap. No one, not even the Father, can violate this fundamental law of mechanics. Strategic deep dive, the legal mechanics of the secret place. The difference between a transient blessing and a guaranteed supply lies in the location of the sowing, the Father's covenant obligation. Jesus states, "Your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly," Matthew 6:4. This statement is a binding legal obligation on the Father. Your secret obedience, the seed, legally triggers the Father's covenant duty to reward you. The reward is not optional. It is a required execution of the covenant law. If you sow in secret, the kingdom is legally compelled to deliver the harvest publicly. The strategic difference: visible versus invisible supply. Public sowing, seeking man's honor. When you sow publicly for public honor, the return, the reward you sought, is immediate applause. You have received your full reward from man, legally fulfilling the contract. The reward is finite, the depth of man's appreciation, and vulnerable, easily attacked by envy or criticism. Secret sowing, seeking God's honor. When you sow in secret, the return is delayed and invisible supply. This supply is delivered not as physical cash first, but as strategic information, unseen protection, and creative ideas. This blessing is guaranteed because the source is the unassailable treasury of heaven. This is a strategic advantage your competitors cannot see or copy. The legal protection of the unseen. The secret place acts as a jurisdictional boundary. Topic 14. Any seed sown there is protected by the highest court. When the blessing eventually manifests, the open reward, it is already fortified, unlike the public blessing, which is often instantly exposed to the enemy's attempts at theft and destruction. You are trading physical, observable credit for eternal, protected collateral. This legal basis confirms that the law of hidden provision is the primary mechanism for activating limitless, protected supply through strategic, secret compliance. The size of your secret obedience dictates the guaranteed size of your open reward. Zone 1. Secret Giving. The first legal zone of activation for the law of hidden provision is secret giving. This is the highest form of covenant service because it removes the temptation of mammon worship and the desire for human applause. Jesus' instruction is absolute. Do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Matthew 6:3. Strategic deep dive, the legal activation of supply. Secret giving is not primarily about the recipient, it is about legally verifying your allegiance to the king. The annulment of the Mammon covenant. Giving publicly retains an element of control and self-credit. Secret giving, where you completely relinquish control and conceal your identity, is the decisive legal action that annuls the covenant of greed and the love of money. It is the ultimate statement to the spiritual realm. My security is entirely in the Father, not in the praise of man or the retention of capital. This annulment is necessary to activate the king's supply chain. Activating the doubling principle, every anonymous gift is a seed sown into the highest yield ground, the Father's secret account. As we will discuss, this action immediately activates the doubling principle, Isaiah 61:7, because the Father is legally bound to reward your sacrifice, and that reward must exceed the sacrifice itself to honor the covenant. The lack of human reward doubles the kingdom's obligation. The hidden blessings of secret giving. The return from this zone is rarely just money. It is strategic resources that only the king can provide. Creative ideas, the riches of wisdom. Suddenly you receive clear, actionable financial strategies or business concepts that yield far more than the original gift. This is intellectual property delivered by the Father. Invisible protection, the hidden hedge. The Father closes legal doors in the physical world that would have led to financial disaster, e.g. stopping you from making a bad investment or protecting your existing assets from unforeseen loss. Territorial opportunities. Hidden blessings manifest as unexpected legal access to new markets, new relationships, or new levels of influence, all of which are prerequisites for massive, visible wealth. This zone confirms that your most powerful financial movements are the ones only Jesus knows about. By practicing secret giving, you legally transfer your financial future from the vulnerable economy of man to the protected kingdom economy. Zone 2. Secret Prayer. The second legal zone of activation for the law of hidden provision is secret prayer. This is the highest form of covenant intercession because it proves that your primary source of power and authority is in the intimate court of the king, not the public display of religiosity. Jesus' mandate: go into your room, and when you have shut your door, pray to your Father who is in the secret place. Matthew 6:6. Strategic deep dive. Executing decrees in the secret place. The secret prayer chamber is your highest legal office for executing the will of the king. Establishing jurisdiction of intimacy. The act of shutting the door is a legal action that declares the jurisdiction of intimacy. You are moving from the chaotic, public domain where the enemy has influence to the exclusive counsel of the king. In this secluded office, your requests are no longer mere wishes. They are legal decrees issued by the co-heir. Topic 12. The activation of strategic wisdom. The core hidden blessing of secret prayer is strategic wisdom. James 1:5. Wisdom is the master key that unlocks the king's entire treasury. When you pray in secret, the Father rewards you with information advantage. details about future markets, relational alignments, or spiritual attacks that no one else possesses. This wisdom makes your actions infallible because they are perfectly synchronized with the King's timetable. The hidden blessings of secret prayer. The returns from this zone are entirely focused on strategic and informational advantage. Divine setups, invisible orchestration. The Father begins arranging events and people in the unseen realm to fulfill your public assignment. You step into pre-prepared opportunities, the promotion that opens up unexpectedly, the partner who appears at the exact moment you need them. This is the fulfillment of the legal promise of pre-prepared works, Ephesians 2:10. Clarity and vision. Your prayer is rewarded with a crystal-clear vision of your next move, removing the paralyzing effect of doubt and confusion. This clarity is a direct function of your access to the King's counsel. Supernatural peace, the governance foundation. The highest internal hidden blessing is a peace that cannot be rationally explained. This peace is the legal foundation for governance. You cannot rule chaos if chaos rules you. The Father rewards your secret intimacy with internal stability that makes you impervious to external pressure. This zone confirms that the most successful leaders and kingdom agents are those who operate based on secret information gained from secret prayer. Your time in the closet determines your effectiveness in the world. Zone 3. Secret fasting. The third legal zone of activation for the law of hidden provision is secret fasting. This is the highest form of covenant manipulation, the strategic trading of earthly authority, the need for physical sustenance, for spiritual authority, absolute dependency on Jesus. Jesus instructs, "Do not look gloomy, but wash your face so that your fasting will not be obvious to men, but to your Father." Matthew 6:18. Strategic deep dive, reinforcing identity through denial. Secret fasting is a legal declaration of priority. The legal affirmation of dependency. Fasting is the deliberate physical act of denying the body's legitimate needs to affirm the spirit's absolute dependency on Jesus. By doing this in secret, you demonstrate to the spiritual courts that your allegiance is undivided and unconditional. You are legally affirming your co-heir status, topic 2, over your physical appetites. This declaration immediately strengthens your spiritual authority. The legal mechanism of power transfer. Fasting acts as a powerful spiritual weight transfer. By voluntarily relinquishing control over the physical realm, food, you automatically gain control and authority in the spiritual realm. This is a fundamental law of spiritual mechanics. The decrease of self leads to the increase of Christ's rule. This is the reinforcement necessary to handle the pressure of prophetic identity. Topic 15. The hidden blessings of secret fasting. The return from this zone is focused entirely on internal fortification and legal deliverance. Spiritual resilience, endurance. Fasting builds the invisible muscle of the spirit, granting you the endurance required to sustain long-term assignments. It fortifies the governance character necessary to handle massive wealth and influence without corruption. Legal deliverance from footholds. Fasting is a primary weapon for destroying the legal footholds. Topic 14. The enemy holds through persistent sin or addiction. The physical denial breaks the legal contract the appetite has with the enemy, leading to immediate unseen spiritual liberation. Heightened spiritual sensitivity. The spirit's senses become dramatically sharpened. Your ability to receive information from the secret place, Zone 2, and to discern the enemy's tactics becomes unparalleled. This is operational superiority granted in secret. This zone confirms that secret fasting is the required legal action to fortify your internal character and break legal bondage. preparing you to sustain the massive blessings activated through the other two zones. The guarantee mechanism. The doubling principle. You have activated the three legal zones of secret obedience. Now you must understand the guarantee mechanism that ensures the Father fulfills his obligation, the doubling principle. The objective of this mechanism is to reward the sacrifice of recognition with a return of double value and eternal security. The Bible frequently establishes this law, declaring, "Instead of your shame, you shall have double honor," Isaiah 61:7. This is not poetry, it is a legal mandate on the kingdom's treasury. Strategic deep dive. The covenant requirement for multiplication. The doubling principle is triggered by the voluntary relinquishment of human credit. The legal rationale for doubling. When you perform an act of obedience in public, you receive credit X from man. The transaction is closed. When you perform the same act in secret, you sacrifice credit X. Jesus, who paid the legal penalty for your poverty, must not only repay credit X, the lost honor, but must multiply it to demonstrate the supremacy of his covenant. Therefore, the return is legally required to be 2x, double honor, or more. This doubling is the Father's legal signature confirming the validity of your secret vow. The mechanics of allocation. This 2x return is allocated strategically, the 1x visible return. This is the open reward, Matthew 6:4, the tangible manifestation like financial increase, physical healing, or public promotion. This portion must be seen to testify to the Father's faithfulness. The 1x invisible return. This is the hidden provision, the strategic information advantage, the inner resilience, and the unseen protection. This portion is the most valuable because it is the eternal capital that allows you to manage the visible 1x without succumbing to corruption or attack. The secret place as the financial clearinghouse. The secret place, your closet, your anonymous giving, functions as the heavenly clearinghouse. It is where your seed is categorized and assigned its return factor. Seeds of public display are given a return factor of 0, reward received. Seeds of secret sacrifice are given a return factor of double or more, legally binding the Father to provide both the visible and the invisible protection needed to sustain the blessing. This mechanism confirms that the law of hidden provision does not just provide, it provides multiplied value and eternal security, ensuring your obedience generates assets that are perpetually guarded by the King. The greater the secrecy of the sacrifice, the higher the guaranteed doubling factor. The unseen blessings. The greatest asset produced by the law of hidden provision is not the money you receive, but the invisible information advantage (AA) and legal protection that secure your future. The objective is to identify the true riches of the secret place, assets no human can steal or copy. The world measures wealth by visible ledgers. Jesus measures wealth by strategic position and legal security. Strategic deep dive. The non-tangible assets. These are the hidden rewards that ensure your long-term co-governance and survival. Invisible information advantage, (AHA). This is the immediate reward of secret prayer zone 2. It is the ability to foresee the market, the political climate, or the spiritual attacks before they happen. Operational insight. You receive specific, actionable wisdom that leads to decisions of perfect timing, investing before the boom, exiting before the crash. This is the prophetic insight, topic 15, that makes your business decisions appear lucky to the outside world, but are actually legally informed. Legal clarity. The IIA includes the ability to discern the enemy's legal contract, topic 14, and attack it at its root. You are given the unseen defense strategy because you are with the king in secret. Invisible legal protection, the hidden hedge. This is the reward of secret giving Zone 1. This is the Father's active enforcement arm, protecting your assets. The closed door. The Father legally blocks or redirects destructive opportunities and people that would have led to your financial or relational ruin. You may never know what disasters were averted by your anonymous acts of charity. Asset insulation. Your assets, physical health, mental stability, financial resources, are insulated from the general chaos of the world. While others face market volatility, your covenant supply remains steady, maintained by a mechanism only Jesus controls. Inner resilience, the governing character. This is the reward of secret fasting Zone 3. It is the spiritual fortification necessary for your eternal governance. Pressure management. This resilience is the internal stability that allows you to handle massive wealth or profound influence without pride or fear. It ensures your co-heir status is not corrupted by power. The unshakable peace. This deep, unassailable peace acts as the legal foundation. Topic 12 for sound judgment. Without this peace, your decisions will be driven by panic, legally invalidating your rule. These unseen blessings confirm that the law of hidden provision is designed to build the internal capacity required to manage the external manifestation of the doubling principle. The legal risks of display. Understanding the law of hidden provision requires understanding the severe legal risks of display, the consequences of performing your acts of obedience publicly for human honor. The objective is to recognize how seeking human applause legally annuls the Father's covenant obligation. Jesus was brutally clear. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward in full. Matthew 6:5-16. Strategic deep dive. The annulment of the covenant obligation. The phrase "received their reward in full" is a legal terminus. The transactional failure. When you perform an act of giving, prayer, or fasting with the primary intent of receiving praise from men, violation 5, topic 13, you enter into a legal contract with mankind. The exchange. You trade your act of obedience for human honor. The fulfillment. Once the human honor is delivered, the compliment, the recognition, the applause, the contract is fulfilled, and the transaction is legally closed. The covenant annulment. Because the contract is closed and the reward is received, the Father is legally released from his covenant obligation. Matthew 6:4. No legal duty. The Father does not owe you a reward because you have already collected your payment from the earthly source. The doubling principle is immediately cancelled. Vulnerability. Since the reward is sourced from the limited human economy, it carries no invisible protection, IIP. It is instantly vulnerable to the enemy, envy, and the volatile nature of the human market. The strategic cost. The cost of seeking display is not just the loss of the reward, it is the strategic loss of access to the source of unlimited supply. Character stagnation. The need for human praise prevents the development of inner resilience. Zone 3. Your character remains weak, making you incapable of handling future, larger blessings. Informational blindness. The preoccupation with the visible blinds you to the invisible information advantage. Zone 2. You become functionally deaf and blind to the strategies of the king. This section confirms that seeking human credit is the single greatest action that legally invalidates your claim on the law of hidden provision. Activating the secret obedience lifestyle. To live perpetually under the law of hidden provision is to make secret obedience your default operational mode. The objective is establishing perpetual covenant compliance in the unseen realm. This requires implementing a strategic action plan that creates legal boundaries between your sacred obedience and the public eye. Strategic deep dive, implementation and legal zoning. You must deliberately schedule and protect the boundaries of your secret zones. The Closet Hour Zone 2 implementation. Action. Establish a non-negotiable daily legal hour for secret prayer that you do not announce or advertise. This must be a time of uninterrupted solitude to affirm the jurisdiction of intimacy. Enforcement. Verbally prohibit any external interruption during this hour, declaring this time is legally reserved for the King's Council and the door is sealed. This action trains the spiritual realm to recognize your boundary. The Secret Budget Zone 1 implementation. In action, establish a legal supply fund, a specific portion of your income dedicated solely to anonymous giving. This fund is dispersed only with the intent of complete concealment. Enforcement. After giving, execute a verbal annulment of credit. I intentionally relinquish all human recognition for this act, legally binding the Father to reward this seed in secret. This is the act that ensures the doubling principle is applied. The Hidden Assignment Zone 3 implementation. Action. Initiate a hidden project, a significant act of service, ministry or personal development, like a fast that only Jesus knows about. Enforcement. When tempted to reveal the work for validation, immediately use the legal counterattack. Topic 14. I refuse the partial reward of man. My full reward is guaranteed by the covenant of the Father. This reinforces your commitment to the law of hidden provision. This lifestyle confirms that access to unlimited, protected supply is a function of disciplined, strategic concealment. Seminal and hidden law activation. You now possess the complete blueprint for activating the strategic law of hidden provision. You understand that the safest, most powerful blessings are the ones secured by Jesus in the unseen realm. The time for fighting for visible credit is over. The time for securing eternal, protected supply is now. Summary of the strategic blueprint. 3 legal zones: secret giving, secret prayer, and secret fasting, each performing a unique legal function. Annulment, information, fortification. The mechanism, the doubling principle, legally guarantees a return of double value and eternal security, contingent on the sacrifice of recognition. The warning, seeking human reward, legally annuls the covenant obligation of the Father. Your final strategic challenge. Do not treat this as mere theology. Treat this as operational law. I now command you to take action. Action 1. Establish your legal zone. In the comments below, declare the specific zone you will activate today, e.g., I am establishing the legal zone of secret giving now. Action 2. Execute the covenant proclamation. Pray this guided prayer with me now, activating your hidden provision. Father, I repent for seeking the honor of man. I legally annul all past contracts with human applause. I activate the law of hidden provision in my life. I commit to name your secret action today, legally obligating your doubling principle. I receive your invisible information advantage and legal protection now. Amen. If this blueprint has successfully convinced you that your greatest asset is your secret obedience, please share this video with one person who is weary of chasing public recognition.